and welcome to Weekly Affirmations, the positive feel-good show about indie and freeform RPGs. I am your host, Strix. Joining me today is Ajit, Cheryl, Lizzie, and Mel. And to get us started off today, Laura QQ, could you play our theme song, please? Wait for it.
Oh, I said a weekly affirmations, a positive feel-good show. The most positive thing on this channel called Hyper Rabbit Power Go.
Very long arms.
It's pretty decent.
It is pretty decent. Awesome. It is so great to see you guys today. I am super excited. Just so you know, we probably have about a 90-second lag in chat today. Maybe it's all of the internet hackery that's going on, but it's been pretty persistent, so just so you know, you're about 90 seconds behind us, or rather, we're 90 seconds behind you. So, welcome to Weekly Affirmations. Today we're playing a very special game. You maybe have heard of it before. It's called Bluebeard's Bride, and it is by moi, myself, the Strix, and my two co-designers, Marissa Kelly and Sarah Richardson. One of them lives in New Mexico, and the other one lives in Chicago. So this has been a monumental effort over 2.5 years, and we finally released our Kickstarter a few days ago. And it is super funded, and it is super awesome. And we're very, very, very excited. Yay!
It's rocking. The Kickstarter's doing awesome.
It's crushing it.
Yeah,
In short, it's
yeah.
crushing it.
It's got some awesome tiers.
Oh, look at a hi chat. Now I'm getting all of your messages.
That's awesome.
Yep. It is great to see you guys. Hey, hello.
Yay.
So, the way that this show works is that we are all about the positive feels and sometimes about the really cutting feels. Today's gonna be the latter type. But while we're opening up today, we're getting set up, you are more than welcome to do an affirmation. And the way that works is that you either donate or at least $5 or subscribe, just like that, 777 or 11, very clever, just resubbed, and for that, you get an affirmation. So observe. I will pull an affirmation from my handy dandy affirmation matrix right here. And then I'm gonna affirm you, and you're gonna take that with you for the rest of the weekend.
Money.
Yay for Strix Day. Congrats on the success of the Bluebeard's Bride Kickstarter so far. Hope you all have a fantastic day.
Thank you, Aridin. And IRL Binky just resubbed. Can we get some resub hype for Binky, please? Yeah.
Woo!
And can we also move that towards me so that I can read it?
Yes.
Yeah, there we go.
Certainly. Oh, more resubs. So many resubs.
Oh, and Paximo resubbed too. Awesome.
Resub hype.
Resub hype. Let me see them sharks.
Bluebeard's
See them
Bride hype.
subs. Lady you?
You guys have been saving
That's
They have
awesome.
been saving.
Saving up.
Aw.
All right, any more that are gonna throw me off? Okay. Did I get everyone? I did. All right.
Oh, thank you for backing Lady Kakyu.
So this one is for 777 or 11. And today, you are a faithful, glittering owl. Bring, 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 bring. Laura QQ is still setting some things up, so we're not quite getting to the sounds yet, but we can make them ourselves. So a faithful, glittering owl would be like, hoo hoo, hoo hoo, hoo. There we go.
Love it.
That's awesome.
All right, so the next person up is Aridin C or Aridinsk. Aridin, which one is it? Because I, butcher everybody's names. But I'd like to say it the way that you say
Yeah,
it.
we've been asking you.
I think it is Aridin SC.
Aridin SC.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
You can,
I'm gonna
you
go
can
with
correct
that.
me if I'm
I'm just
wrong.
gonna call
Aridin.
you.
I also was under that
Aridin.
impression.
Yeah.
I just make up things.
It's you have to on Twitch.
There's-
It could be. It's
I'm totally not right most of the time. Oh, hi, Aridin. Okay, Aridin, so you are an assertive, fascinating sugar glider.
I had a crappy day at work and want to affirm everyone on weekly affirmations.
That's really positive. It's like taking anything negative and turning it positive.
Super cool.
Yeah, it's
Oh,
really
new
neat.
subscriber.
That's really
Oh,
cool.
who is the new sub?
There we go.
Subscriber.
Okay, dance, long dance. Dance time.
Oh my god.
Do it.
Can I get an affirmation for the internet, which sorely needs one today? And another
That's
for
pretty
Cheryl,
epic.
just because she is great.
Aw, she is
Thank you,
great.
Krillin.
That's
Thank you.
Krillin. Oh, it's Krillin. Got
Are
it.
you wearing a pelvis X
I am
shirt?
wearing a dress that has all manner
Oh,
of
and
bones on it.
Astro
Yes.
Zombie photography.
What?
You guys
Thank
are
you
already
for the
putting me behind.
resub. We can help if you need us to help.
I got it. You just look cute for the camera and do all kinds of crazy things while I write. Don't look at me right. All right. So the one for Aridin, I got it, was an assertive, fascinating sugar glider, and so I think someone else should do that sound. You looked first, Lizzie.
Okay, so I've actually owned sugar gliders before. Sugar gliders make this weird sound called chuffing, and when they want to assert themselves,
Who is that?
so
Invader Cheney.
Cheney. Thank you. Sorry.
sounds kind of like a pencil sharpener.
I love it.
Can we get Small Fry her weekly affirmation, please?
Sure.
Also off to give more money to Kickstarter smiley face.
That's awesome.
They make a horrible Bezoring sound, right?
Yeah.
I'm hoping that Kickstarter hits 50K.
Perfect.
I'm
pretty
looking for
awful.
the this new beautiful like prints.
So yes.
Yes.
That's the thing, I can finally talk about it. The Kickstarter goal that I really wanted to make was the art prints.
Yeah.
And it is now opened up. So if we get there, we're gonna have art prints. I don't know if you guys have seen that art.
Oh my god, it is so good. It is so good.
Oh, so amazing.
Yeah.
Hi everyone. I would like to affirm Malika for being so darn positive.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Paladin.
That's awesome.
Well, look at
All right, the next one is for IRL Binky. You know who you are. Ooh, yes. He's gonna make this sound. So, Binky, you are an inquisitive, dashing
No, I'm not making that sound.
sharktopus.
Sharktopus?
Back to the sharktopus for you already. I think that's
That's
the sharktopus,
awesome.
right?
That is
That's
Oh,
awesome.
That's
wow.
I knew there was a reason why I liked you.
Wow.
It's the sharktopus inside me.
So in case you're just joining us, this is Weekly Affirmations, the show about Indian freeform games. I'm your host, Strix, and today we're playing my game, Bluebeard's Bride. But first, we're doing some affirmations, because it's cool to affirm people.
It is.
Alright, the next one's for Paximo. Gliding is a theme today. Alright, Paximo, you are... Run, Laura, run! A fancy, gliding chimera.
Lovely.
Ring, ring, ring,
Ring, ring,
ring,
ring,
ring,
ring,
ring, ring, ring, ring, ring. Aw, we make our own
Have
sound.
I missed the link to the Kickstarter? No, it's
What?
they're asking for the link. The link.
I'd like to
There's a
once
mod.
again affirm Jules, Ashley, and Molly and congratulate them on launching the Transmission Radio podcast. Thanks to everyone who spread the word. I hope it meant as much to you as it does to those three.
That's awesome.
Yay!
That's awesome.
The launch of their podcast. Alright, yes. So the next one is for Paximo, right? Wait, no, we just did that because you're a chimera. Ajit, what does a chimera sound like?
Fancy gliding chimera,
Yes, a fancy gliding chimera.
huh? I don't actually know what a chimera looks like, so I think they're these mythical beasts, right? So they're. What a bell.
Let's affirm Malika again. She works a lot. She spreads Thumper love with all she's got, making us feel welcome with hyperactive outcome. Her awesome meters beyond a gigawatt. Hashtag Thumper Pride. Hashtag weekly affirmations. Hashtag game feels hollow, Mr. Strix, Lizzie, Mel, Cheryl, and Strix. Affirmation for you all, PLZ.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you,
Ethereal.
Ethereal.
For
That's
us.
awesome.
Alright, what was that? Oh,
Here y'all are.
Brains and
Keep on
intelligence
sending
are
money.
attractive. The hosts and employees of Hyper RPG are all quite attractive.
Aw.
Thank you.
Feels affirmed Venn
Aw.
diagram. Affirmed Venn
An affirmation for the whole table for being awesome, please. Hashtag Thumper Pride.
Oh, from Simtier. Thank you, Simtier.
Simtier, you're awesome. Thank you, Simtier.
You guys are burying me in affirmations. I love it.
Yeah.
I love it. You're still not off the hook.
Oh, me? Okay, fine. Fancy Chimera. It's just like fancy, I feel like. But I have no idea what a Chimera
That
looks
was
like.
lovely. That was lovely and majestic.
That was
I believe
perfect.
it.
Oh my god.
You really
like
sold
it.
it.
Yeah,
No.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Holy shit.
We'll break
That will live on the internet forever.
Thank you, Liz. I feel like you are just looking to embarrass me week after week.
I do this every week. Every week for the last 8 months.
Yes.
So you got nothing to complain about.
Wow, 8 months.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Congratulations on
Yeah.
8 months.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, the next one is for Lady Kaku. Thank you for your resub. Guys, subs and donations keep us running.
Mr.
So,
Strix.
Ayy.
I would like to affirm AJ and Lizzie because I know that they have had a rough weekend.
Aw.
Could use some love. Plus Lizzie's name is pretty awesome.
Aw,
Yeah.
thank you.
That's awesome.
Aw,
Thanks,
thank you, Pax.
All right. Lady Kaku, you are a helpful, equivocating unicorn. Bring, 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 bring,
I
bring.
see you're running.
There we go.
What a good job, QQ.
Laura's like doing a marathon in the
Yeah.
background. A helpful, equivocating unicorn. So it'd be like, whoa, yes, I am very helpful. Whoa, it's right over there. Let me get you some coffee.
Oh my god. Holy cow. She brings us home every night.
I do not. That's a lie.
Malai.
All right, the next one.
I love that.
I saw that Damoon rules. Be nice.
That's pretty nice. That's pretty awesome.
So the next one is for everyone here at Hyper RPG. This is from Mahidel. So this is for staff, this is for hosts, this is for all the people behind the cameras and our awesome volunteers. So we are all judicious, speculating lemurs.
Love.
Ooh,
Bring, 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 bring. There we go.
that's pretty cool.
Mel, I feel like you haven't taken a crack at this yet. You thought I
Yeah, I was
forgot you?
hoping
Yeah.
you'd tell me for the unicorn one, and then you just went for it. So one more time, judicious.
Judicious, speculating lemur.
So that would be like, eek eek.
I love the questioning. It's like, maybe.
Well done.
Thank you.
Yeah.
All right, the next one is for our new sub and newest member of the Hyper RPG family, Chels Bells Brown. I actually know who you are, and you guys actually know who she is because Chels Bells Brown, I'm outing you. She was my fellow mythologist that played a game with us earlier in the season, and she's super cool. So you should say welcome to Chels.
Yeah.
So, Chels, you are a delightful, analyzing platypus.
Holy cow. I'm glad. I'm glad this is restricted to.
Everywhere.
Yeah.
Well, on
Can
the
we
plus
scrub
side,
can we scrub the internet?
You know,
on the
Beyonce
plus
tried that
side, the
once.
internet is really, really slow today.
Yeah, maybe,
so
maybe I'll like
have
it lucky.
amnesia.
The hackers will take out YouTube.
stop
Oh,
the proliferation.
I think this may be my most favorite Strix facts ever. Strix expresses her love by systemically stripping away all sense of shame and replacing it with whimsy.
That's pretty cool.
It's a good coping
Yeah,
mechanism.
it's pretty cool.
Nice part.
That's how we do. All right, the next one is for Krellin. So Krellin, or maybe Krillin. No, not Krillin. Krillin was.
That's
we're
from
not gonna go
Dragon
there. So Krellin, not Krillin. You are a delicious, shining Hydra.
What?
I tried to
Why?
like scoot out of my way.
Nobody
Did
makes
you
eye
see that?
contact.
I feel like I'm like on a torture rack here. Delicious shining Hydra. Why do you choose these weird things? How do you make a delicious Hydra?
Oh, okay. Okay. That was pretty good.
Okay,
That was good.
that's not my delicious.
I'm filling you with whimsy.
Oh my god! No.
I love the way you said it.
Yeah.
Filling you with whimsies.
All right, the
This
next
is how
one
we
is
argue at
for-
home.
Oh goodness.
Oh man.
Okay, the next one is for Astro Zombie Photography. So, Astro, you are a beautiful, everlasting mermaid. Does anyone want to volunteer for that one?
How does this? Everlasting. Well, I want to see the
Mermaid.
words again. Well, there's only one answer to beautiful, everlasting mermaid.
That's true. Yeah. And
Canna G affirmed the Strix hashtag game feels hash Sador dash Krupp.
What?
yes.
Up
Yes, you
where
can.
they walk, up where they
Oh
run.
come on,
where they
please.
There you
Wow.
go. That's the beautiful,
There we go.
everlasting word.
That was a
Absolutely. That is
nice
the sound
tip
I make.
for
I wanted one more.
to torture me.
What, you don't like the Little Mermaid?
No. The can I affirm you? Apparently.
Oh, you don't want to affirm me?
What?
Is this our first on-screen fight?
Oh my God.
Oh.
Holy cow! This is pretty intense. Got some serious relationship problems here.
It's the whole game.
The
Yeah.
whole game. The whole game. So the
Uh,
next one is for Invader. What was it?
I feel like it's pervasive
Chenny?
trolling.
Help me.
Oh, Invader Chenny.
Invader
I
Chenny.
think.
Yes.
Yeah, Invader
My own
Chenny.
handwriting is really terrible. So Invader Chenny, this one is for you. Ooh. And you are tenacious, clarifying Jabberwocky. So refreshing.
Yeah.
So refreshing.
Jabberwockies are fairly intense. I mean,
Mhm.
that's like the rah kind of stuff right there.
Perfect.
Whoa.
That's perfect. Totally captured.
Way to take that one. Good
Yeah.
job, Cheryl.
Can we just have Cheryl do anytime I'm get told? Can I type her in for me?
We'll see. We'll see. All right, the next one is for Small Fry. Ooh, a resub from Demolition One.
Thank you for the resub.
Thank you. Okay, what was I saying? Small Fry. Small Fry, this is from Binky. And you are an ancient, entertaining kitsune. So it'd be like, bark, 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 bark. I'm a fox, bark.
I very much appreciate the exposition of the part here. It's good context.
Bark, I'm a fox, bark.
Yes, Miss Little Monkey, that is definitely our relationship encapsulated.
What's our relationship encapsulated?
Oh, come on, Ajit. We know how you argue at home. You say something and Strix says no, so you back down.
No comment.
I'll comment.
So the
I hate
next
to break
one-
it to you that there's a lot of clipping going on. I don't think the internet's going to forget all of it.
There's
Wow.
so much
Thanks.
clipping going on.
Thanks, Cheryl.
Bless you. Bless you all.
Oh,
Paper bag over my head.
oh, my drink is so chewy. Okay. It is. So the next one is for Malika, and this is from Paladin Hulk. So Malika, you're an awesome part of our community. You give people spirit, and I don't think you're here right now, so hopefully someone will tweet this at you. But Malika, you are one salty-looking salamander.
That's very nice. Yeah, it's pretty cool. That actually worked out really nicely. That's a nice combo.
So it would be
Wow.
like,
Perhaps playing some League of Legends.
yes.
I like that I've got no Twitter handle, just the Strix consort. Cheers. That's awesome. that is correct, especially right now. I'm
Aw.
clearly the consort.
Oh.
That's not true. You have a Twitter handle.
Yeah,
You
you
real
can,
one and everything with your picture
you
on
can
it.
stalk him on Twitter.
You can totally stalk him on Twitter. Oh, look at those cats. Okay. So the
Wow.
next one is for
Yeah.
Jules, Ashley, and Molly. Congratulations on starting up your awesome new podcast. This is from Demoon Rules and from us.
Yeah.
So way to go, ladies. And you, there we go, are zealous, amusing echidnas.
I think Lizzie.
No!
like Lizzie is like staring dead at the camera. She's like, if I look at the camera, Strix will not call on me.
No, he's caught on to my trick. Just don't make eye
I feel like it's
contact.
like being a classroom where you're like, if I just look at this teacher, the teacher won't call me. I'll just look at the teacher.
Yeah.
I'm just a really good child.
Yeah, which is hilarious because I was always that obnoxious kid who was like,
Yeah.
I have the answer, please call on me.
I'm just
So
really
what is
quiet.
it?
I had a faculty meeting yesterday that felt like I was in the world of the Shab al-Hiri. Roach, not in a good way. Could I get an affirmation to make up for it? Also, I'm in Bluebeard's wine cellar, #RenRaku.
That's not good.
Ooh.
So the wine cellar is a tier that we're offering through the Bluebeard Kickstarter. It is our most popular tier and is definitely my favorite as well. So be sure to check it out.
Yeah, the wine cellar's got a lot of swag.
It's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Okay, so back to what I was saying. Jules, Ashley, and Molly, you are zealous, amusing echidnas, and Lucy's gonna make sense.
So zealous but also amusing echidnas. And they got like these big nose things.
That's adorable.
That's awesome.
That is super adorable.
God.
Oh man.
Okay, the next one is for Malika too, and this is from Prosperous Guard. It was followed by Awesome Poetry, which I always appreciate. So Malika, perfect again. Malika, you are a rambunctious, achieving bunny. So it'd be like, I get straight A's. I'm going to Harvard.
Yes, Elmsworth, her visual acuity is based on movement.
Just like T-Rex.
You just stand very still.
Wow.
It will
scary.
help you. I will still see you, Will.
Listen. I'm here. I'm available.
All right then. So this next one is actually for all of us. It's from a fifth reel. Thank you, fifth reel. So
Yeah.
we are mystical, daring sphinxes.
So should we all do it?
I think we should.
I think we
for
should
all of
too.
us.
Yes.
Mystical, daring sphinxes. Ready, set, meow. Meow.
It's gonna be a really good clip.
Oh
I'm
my
really
God.
excited to see it pop up in a minute and a
Oh my
half.
God. Every time I do a sound, I regret it immediately afterwards.
That's
It
how you
is-
know you were doing it right.
I don't know about that.
Whimsy. Whimsy.
Yeah, I'm trying. I'm doing as much whimsy as I can
We
muster.
have to get the whimsy in before we dive into
Yeah.
into Bluebeard.
Yeah,
Okay.
you folks should
This is
know
the warm-up.
Bluebeard is a pretty serious game. It has very mature adult content in it, so you should be aware. If you're watching right now, or if you're watching this on YouTube, we don't recommend that this is people of a younger age variety. There will be probably some sexual content. There'll definitely be some really horrific things. So you've been warned. Tune out at any time it gets to be too much. So the next one is for Feels Affirmed Venn Diagram, which is not a username that I've come across before. So, Feels Affirmed, you're gonna feel affirmed some more because you are a bodacious, shouting Cerberus. And that, of course, is, three-headed dog from hell. So it'd be like, bark, 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 bark.
You were the third.
You were the third
center head.
I was that
Yeah,
dog
you
was
did
taking a
that.
nap. It was sleeping time for that puppy.
He doesn't conform.
Yeah.
He's the rebel.
Like all the heads have to bark at once to get a lot
Right?
done. Middlehead's like, no.
No.
All right,
Yeah,
the next
just kinda
one
hang it out.
is also for us. It's from Semtier, who is a newer member of the Hyper RPG community, but
Yeah.
seems to be fitting right in. So thank you so much, Semtier. And we are all nice, encouraging Nagas. Like that alliteration there?
Yeah, I do. Should we all do this one too?
Yes,
Yeah.
sure.
Jesus, what's up with this?
Ready, set. You're so great. Oh, you're lovely, darling.
Oh, it's a nice one.
Do better. Do well. Good job.
It's a nice naga.
Fantastic.
Aren't nagas mean though?
It's a nice, encouraging Naga.
Okay, that's great.
Gotta work with it.
Good to know.
Oh,
Okay, we get a face palm count going. Yeah, I think that's my most common characteristic on this show. A lot of face palming.
okay. This one is for Ajit and somebody from Paximo. I wrote Blurg.
Oh, for me and AJ.
Yes, that's right. No,
Wait,
it is AJ.
Yeah, it's AJ.
He's
There
here.
we go. It's
AJ.
Rosie and AJ.
AJ!
Cute, can you
Come
go
here,
get
AJ.
I hear him. I heard his groan. Get your butt out here.
So hopefully this is the start of a better weekend for you folks. And Paximo wants you to feel affirmed. So here we go. You are both witty, articulating fawns.
AJ, what does a witty articulating fawn sound like?
As it retreats. A retreating, witty, articulate fawn.
And yes, Demolition 1, we can see chat. There is just about a 90-second delay today because of internet slowness all around. So we see you, we're reading you. It's just a little slow today. All right, this one is for you to give to me.
Oh God.
From 4
really?
a.m. Critter.
Great. Okay. But then you get to do
The
it.
top deck, my dear.
Yes. Okay.
Yes, then I have to make the sound.
Ooh, bits.
Ooh, look at it, bits. Thank you, Paladin Hulk. Wonder where our bit sound is.
I'm the bits holder this time. Here they all come.
Okay.
My darling Strix, you are a sweet, glittering
Oh.
jackalope.
Oh.
I don't know what that is, but okay, that's what you are.
It's a bunny with horns. And maybe
Wow,
fangs.
I'm learning so much in this
Maybe
show.
fangs. A
It's
sweet,
pretty awesome.
glittering jackalope. So it'd be like,
Okay.
there
I
you
love
go.
you. I love you.
That's exactly what it sounds like, and it's canon.
I think it's canon.
Yep.
All right, then I always learned it from Full House because he always did the jackalope sound.
Yeah.
Come on, Full House and the jackalope.
Yep.
Was that Uncle Joey? It was Uncle Joey.
Oh, those neurons haven't touched. in a
Oh
long
man.
time.
Neuroplasticity. Thanks to the street.
There's a lot of stuff probably around there from the 80s you might not want to understand.
All right, the next affirmation, and then we have one more, and then we're gonna jump into playing this awesome game. This is for Demolition 1. You know who you are because I saw you talking in chat. So Demolition, you are a shiny, cunning genie.
I thought you said G.
I did too. I was like,
I was like, oh.
Sesame
we,
Street for a
we
second.
added a new. Oh no, I thought like G like an OG.
oh.
Yeah, no, I thought we added a new card. I was like,
Shiny, cunning genie. So it would be like, poof, what do you need? Poof, what do you need? Poof, what do you need? Aladdin joke? No one?
No, I got it.
No.
Yeah, no, that was right there.
Aw.
And we were
That's
just hoping
okay.
it would keep going.
yeah.
We were just like,
If you're silent, then
Just
you
Keep on
just
doing
keep
it.
doing it.
This is, he's cunning. So
And Missile Monkey, I think it can be both. Both a fawn and an ejection seat.
it can. It can be a fawn-shaped ejection seat. It can. All right, this next one is for Trooper SJP, who just had a very interesting faculty meeting. I know your pain. So hopefully this will give you a little pick-me-up because this is kind of appropriate. You are a determined, wandering python. Lizzie.
Oh god. A determined wandering python. Okay. A determined wandering python has to get the stool out of the way.
Ajit, you can
Whoa.
always X-card my donations. Strix, please affirm Alex hashtag game feels hash Sador dash Krupp.
Very good.
Thank you.
Absolutely.
Oh my God. No, 4 a.m.
What's
Critter, we
determined
really
to
appreciate
wander?
your donations, and we'll definitely not X-card them. But
So that was an excellent python. Just want to acknowledge
Thank
that.
you.
yeah.
I was prepared to be more.
It's very
body.
slithery.
Oh, yeah.
And this last affirmation, before Lord QQ shuts down the sounds, is for Alex. I saw Alex in here earlier, but I'm not sure if he's still around, so might want to cover your ears. Alex! Alex! Alex!
We know AJ heard us.
Alex!
No, not
Guys?
here.
All right, I give it my
sad.
best shot. So Alex, who is, by the way, the person who put together our theme song, which is super awesome, so you should thank him for that, is in the studio visiting for a while. We're glad to have him back. So Alex, you are a mysterious, misbehaving pair. I will give you the hard one, my
Thank
dear.
you. Thank you so much.
But Cheryl,
yeah, it's all Cheryl.
I'm a fruit that's gone bad.
That's awesome.
Oh, that is perfect.
That is pretty awesome.
And we're gonna end the affirmations right now
that
on
was
that
a pretty
note.
epic ending.
So, you can continue to donate and subscribe throughout the show. You will still get your affirmation, but from here on out, you're gonna get it at the back end. So after we wrap up play for today. So please stick around for the end of the show. It's just as much fun as this. But now we are gonna transition to actually playing Bluebeard's Bride. So I'm gonna move some stuff around for myself. We're gonna get situated and prepare to be creeped out. Again, this is adult content. This is not for kids. Everyone here has agreed to be horrified today. And we're gonna get into what this game is, how to play it, and then we're gonna get started, guys. So,
And someone asked whether we're going to be using the X card today.
we are absolutely 100% using the X card today.
Right here.
Okay, so let me clean this up a little so I have some space. We're a little tight today.
Cleaning up. Cleaning up. So.
Clean it up so.
Cleaning up the table, getting ready for Bluebeard.
This is basically going to be the play. It is
Pick up all
Cheryl
the
and Lizzie
decks.
taking it away.
Not to mix up the discards and ones we haven't used.
I'm not gonna do that.
No,
Wow.
I know. I said we're gonna make sure.
Yeah.
Yes, the moon rules. You're correct. Alex was a pear. P-E-A-R.
Yes, as in the fruit.
Fruit gone bad.
Go bad.
Okay, so let's talk about Bluebeard's Bride. So Bluebeard's Bride is a feminine horror RPG that uses the Powered by the Apocalypse rule system. It's a hack. However, it's pretty hacky hack. It would be a little difficult to identify Powered by the Apocalypse in this game at this point. We still use the basic rule structures, but there's a lot of things that we do that aren't Powered by the Apocalypse. So keep that in mind. This is not a Powered by the Apocalypse clone. It is definitely its own game. Again, this game was designed by myself, Marissa Kelly, and Sarah Richardson over a period of 2.5 years. The way that this game came about actually was from a game jam for women, which is super awesome. It was at Gen Con. And basically I sat down at a table at this game jam, and I just happened to sit next to Sarah. Like, I did not know her from Eve before that point. We had never met in our lives. And by the time we were done with that game jam, we had the origins of Bluebeard's Bride. And it was very captivating to us, very gripping to us, and we decided to move forward with it with Marissa Kelly, who was also there facilitating that game jam and was helping us build our rule set. And here we are with a already successful Kickstarter that's doing really well, and a community of support that has been super awesome. We've been playtesting this game for more than a year now, by far. And so a lot of people have had contact with it, and everything has been super fun as far as I can tell. You've playtested it before.
Yeah, I playtested it a bunch of times, and I even ran it a couple times at Gen Con. I loved it. It is a completely unique game that takes you into the mind of the bride in a very powerful, evocative, creepy, weird environment, and it's a surreal experience. If you're looking for, like, I'm gonna go kill some dragons, this is definitely not that game. If you're like, I'm looking for really intense, powerful, emotional interactions with great role players, that is your game. And I'm looking forward to playing it again. It's been a while since I played it, but it's exciting.
Yeah, I think it's changed a little bit since last
Yeah,
time
and I
we
think it
played
has too.
So this game is definitely, again, adult material. We don't pull any punches, and it's really fun. But because of, well, the content of this game, you guys know I always do it anyway, but today we're playing with the X card. So the X card is a mechanic invented by John Stravlopoulos that helps people communicate about their boundaries in a game, about content that they don't want or don't like, so that we can move past it and continue to have fun together as a group. So the way that the X card works is if something comes up and you're like, man, I don't really want to play with that right now, or that is too much for me, or ew, 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 get it away, I'm not having fun, you just immediately tap the table and say X card. The X card is not within reach of everyone today, which is why we're doing that. Otherwise, you'd actually tap the physical X card. I expect that I will be X carding myself once or twice throughout this game. I heavily encourage everyone to use it. It is not in any way a reprimand. It is a tool that we use to have fun. So please feel free to use the X card anytime you go in the back of your head, ooh, I don't know if I actually like that. Just tap it. It's not gonna hurt anyone, and it'll help us have a much better game together. So if I can get everyone's buy-in on that, is that cool? We can all use the X card?
Totally.
Excellent. Any questions about the X card today?
No.
I think we're good.
Cool.
It's a great explanation.
It is a great tool, and I suggest anytime you play this game especially, you use the X card. So generally this game is a one-shot, meaning you will play through the entire content of the game in one session, which is usually 4 to 6 hours. It's for 3 to 5 players, plus a GM. We call them a groundskeeper, because it's Bluebeard's mansion. And, it definitely has pretty good replayability because of the way that the playbooks are organized. You're going to have a different experience every time. So that's the gist of Bluebeard's Bride. I'm going to get into actually explaining the game as we play it. If there are questions in chat, please ask them. That's what we're here for today, to showcase the game. If you have questions for me as the designer, I will do my best to answer them while we play. You may have to ask maybe once or twice just so I make sure that I can see it. But I think I'm ready to have a good time.
I was gonna say there was a couple questions that I saw that were like, is it not safe for work, or and I played it a bunch of times, and every single time I played it, there was very creepy and horrific elements to it, but nothing that was. I mean, there was some stuff that was X-carded because it was uncomfortable, but nothing that was like X-rated or over the top. I always think of it as a psychological horror, but that's the way it's been played out for me. And I do agree it's a one-shot, but man, I've played it a bunch of times, and it really is different depending on the players at the table and kind of the experiences you're going through. So it's really atmospheric. It is in kind of the true tradition of psychological horror, maybe a little American Horror Story in some ways.
So this game is actually part of a good point. A grand tradition, a grand literary tradition actually, called feminine horror.
Yeah.
And feminine horror is an established genre. And within that genre, you're gonna find pieces like Rosemary's Baby, or Crimson Peak, or a whole bunch of Gothic literature from the 1800s actually.
Yeah.
And what differentiates feminine horror from just horror is that it's about a certain set of feelings and experiences you have with horror when you are feminine coded, when you are a woman or you identify as a woman, and you have different kinds of access to power than the people around you do. And it's a very uncomfortable and a very hemmed in and a very almost drowning feeling. And we definitely make this game about that particular kind of horror, which I think is super great because it has, to my knowledge, not been done in tabletop before.
Yeah, and I think guys playing it have a great experience too. It's just very different, but it's you should definitely not think like, oh, it's a feminine horror game and so guys don't play it. Like I've been at a table with all guys playing it, and it was a great experience and just very different. But I think the gender dynamic is going to be really interesting as the only guy at the table I'm playing. So I'm looking forward to it.
Awesome.
Yeah.
So how are you guys feeling right now?
Good.
Good.
I'm excited. It's been a long time
Alright.
since I played tabletop.
Excellent. Welcome back.
I know.
This is the right game to start with.
Yeah.
Just something light and easy to
just
get you warmed up.
I've been excited for this since you invited me here, so I'm ready to go. But also apprehensive, but ready to go.
So today we're playing with the beta materials, which means that the final product may be slightly different from this, just so you know. And what we have in front of us are character sheets, and I have in front of me some GM guides. There are 5 characters that you can play in this game, and we've picked 4 of them. And we'll go over what that is and what they mean in a little bit. You guys can take your Shattered Sister sheet and put it behind your regular character sheet.
Oh, this is the Shattered?
That is the Shattered.
Okay, great.
You won't need that unless really bad things happen to you, and they probably will, but
Great.
not yet.
Thanks for the vote of encouragement.
That's what we call foreshadowing.
Setting the right tone.
Yeah.
So there's
Setting
also a
expectations.
sheet of moves. It is to your left-hand side. There should be 4 of them for you. Go ahead and make sure that everybody has one.
Oh, okay.
I've got one, so we're good. Okay, so the way that this game actually starts is with a story. So I'm gonna tell you the fairy tale of Bluebeard. And it goes something like this. Once upon a time, there was a young girl who lived way out in the country and who was the daughter of poor farmers. She had many siblings, including an older sister, but they struggled to make ends meet. One day, an aristocrat, a man with a long blue beard and red brocaded sleeves, very rich, approached them at their house. And this was very unheard of because what aristocrat comes to lowly farmer's house. But he came with gifts, and he came with smiles, and he intended to court the elder daughter. But she was repulsed by his demeanor and his long, inextricably blue beard, and she rebuffed him. You are playing the younger daughter, and your parents pressured you to accept Bluebeard's advancements because someone in the family had to make sure that everybody was provided for. And so you let Bluebeard woo you and take you to his mansion and marry you. And upon that marriage, it's not even consummated when he says, "Oh, my dear darling wife, I'm so sorry, but I have to leave on a business trip for 6 weeks. I know, I don't intend to leave my darling bride, but it must be. So, here are the keys to the mansion. You are the lady of this house. Everything is yours. Play with the furs, burn the bonds. I don't care. I want you to be happy. But there is one room that you must never, ever go into. Do you understand me?"
Yes.
Good. Because if you do, I can't help you. Now, here's the keys. Run along now. I'll be back in 6 weeks. And the bride, who was young and curious and lonely and scared, occupied her time exploring the house, getting to know the servants, trying to discover just who her new husband really was, because, well, she wasn't sure. There had been rumors over the years that Bluebeard had actually had many wives in succession, but they'd either died of pneumonia or tuberculosis or suddenly been called away, and there was never any explanation as to where they went. And so as the bride explored these rooms, she felt a pull in the back of her mind. Stronger and then stronger. What could be in that last room? Surely he would have nothing to hide from me, she thinks. He's my husband. And he said that this is my domain, this is my house. I should know what's in that room. But no, he said I shouldn't, I won't do it. But eventually, it was too much. Too much of a mystery, too much of a draw. And the bride walked down a stony little corridor, picked the tiniest key in the key ring, and put the key in the door. And when she opened it, what she found was all of the bodies of the previous wives, hung from hooks, stuck in iron maidens. There was pools of blood on the floor, somehow fresh looking. And she screamed and she dropped her keys. And she thought to herself, my God, this man is a monster. And of course, at that very moment, the front door of the mansion opens. And you can hear Bluebeard say, my wife! My lovely, darling wife! I'm home early, unexpectedly. Where are you? And the bride, she scoops up the keys, and they're covered in blood, and she tries to rinse it off madly. But the blood sticks to that one tiny key, and she can't get it off. And so she sticks the keys in her back pocket, and she goes to meet her husband. And she says, oh, my husband, Bluebeard, I'm so glad you're back. How unexpected. I was so lonely without you. And he says to her, oh, my dear wife, it is wonderful to see you again. I'm so glad I got to come home early. By the way, where are my keys? And she says, I left them upstairs. And he's like, please, go get them. And so, feeling like she has no choice, she walks up the stairs, contemplating what is even going to happen. And she grabs the keys. And then she walks downstairs with them. And she says, oh, my husband. And then she just gives him the keys. And he takes them, and he looks, and he sees the blood, and he knows. Of course he knows. And he says to her, you have failed me utterly. You have betrayed my trust. For this you must die. And he takes his very ornamental sword, and he chops off her head. sticks her in the room with the other brides. The end.
That just gave me the shivers.
That's one of the many stories of Bluebeard. Because it is a fairy tale, there are variants, but I don't think that you can expect to do any better than she did. Truly. I'm not mincing words. So,
It's a good start.
that is the tale of Bluebeard.
Yeah.
And that is the space that you will be occupying for the next few hours. So, just quickly for my information, please tell me just the title of the sister that you're playing today.
Sure, I am playing the Virgin.
Okay?
I am playing the Fatale.
I am playing the mother.
And I am playing the witch.
Wonderful. And that leaves out the Animus, which will not be played today. So, you should have on your sheet wedding preparations. It's on the left-hand
yeah.
side. So, we're going to go through the wedding preparations together, and we're going to start to identify who the bride is, what she looks like, what gifts she gives to Bluebeard, and creating our narrative. So we're just going to go one by one, and we're going to answer some questions. So why don't we start actually with the witch?
Mm-hmm.
What's your first question?
Oh, sorry to interrupt. Would you maybe want us to read the descriptor about?
Oh, that's actually a great idea.
Yeah.
So each of your sisters has a descriptor right by the name. Witch, why don't we start with what your descriptor actually is?
You breed magic from shadow and blood. Others desire a taste of your sin and pray for your undoing. Oof. Nice.
Yeah.
And then the first question is, what is the bride's hair like? How do others like you to wear it?
So tell me.
Can you tell me a bit more about the aesthetic setting of this?
Let's assume that it is Eastern European, so Turkish, maybe slightly some Arabic influences.
So long, very long hair, braided, and she likes to wear it free, but other people like her to wear it braided.
What have they said to her to make her not wear it free?
That it'll get dirty, that it's not proper, that it'll fall in something, that it keeps it better if it's held back.
Got it. What color is it?
Dark,
Is it thick? Is it thin?
thick, like a good fistful of braid.
Anything else you want to say about the hair?
She puts flowers in it
Mm-hmm.
wherever she can, and she likes to change them out often.
Okay. Is there a particular flower that is your favorite to put in your hair?
Ooh. I don't know of a regionally appropriate one. We can say roses, because everyone likes roses.
Sure. Or you could just make up a really awesome sounding flower name. But rose sounds good.
Do you want the next question too?
Nope.
Okay.
So, Mother, tell me who you are and then what your first question is.
Mother, you walk with authority. Others ache your approval and long for you to soothe their wounds. Just the first question?
Just the first question.
What is the bride's figure like? What do others wish was different about it? The bride has a very plump figure. She is a little tall, according to other people, and people would prefer she to be less plump, less round, but she is at peace with her figure, even if she doesn't quite love it because of outside intruding opinions.
When did she first know that she had a plump figure?
Very young. People often told her that they would slap her hand away from dishes or chide her for her gluttony because of her figure, when in truth, she was just like all the rest of her sisters. This is just the way that she was.
Thank you.
Let's go.
So I am playing the Fatale, and this part of the bride's psyche is described as: you drip sensuality from your lips, others watch your every move and crave for you to take control. And her first question is, what does the bride's mouth look like? And how do others keep her quiet? And so, as far as
Good one.
as far as wedding preparations go, before she left her house, her mother pulled her aside and gave her a handful of blueberries and wild blackberries from the backyard and told her to rub her mouth with them before seeing her husband to make her more attractive. And, you know, since she was a little bit pale, bring out the features that were best in her. And so on the day of her wedding, she makes sure to accentuate herself with the berry juice before seeing Bluebeard. And she has some of them stashed away in one of her pockets, just in case. It takes a bit of self-control not to eat them, but she has other things to distract her. And others keep her quiet by giving her things to do with her hands. She was learning how to bake from her family. That was one of the ways she helped out around the house. And so if you give her a task along those lines, it will keep her from speaking up.
That's awesome.
And what's the actual shape of her mouth? Is it thick? Is it thin lips? Are they pouty? Are they round?
It's a Cupid's bow, sort of, so not so much wide, but forward and heart shaped.
That's awesome. Okay. I am the virgin. You see beauty where there is none. Others seek comfort in your warmth and delight in your obedience.
We wrote this, man. Wow.
What do the bride's eyes look like? How do others know you want them when they gaze into your eyes? The bride's eyes are a milky brown, more of a smoky brown actually, that has been accentuated by some coal that the Fatale has convinced the Virgin to use to make her look a little bit prettier. And the Virgin just listened to the Fatale's advice on that. So the bride has smoky brown eyes. And how do others know you want them when they gaze into your eyes? Well, there's this dark hunger in those eyes that belies her innocence. The Virgin doesn't even realize it's there. It's this dark hunger for something destructive, I think. So, yeah, there's a dark hunger in her eyes.
And what color are her eyes?
A smoky brown.
Brown. So I saw a question in chat, are we all playing different brides? The answer is, these are all aspects of the same person. Think of them as like archetypes. And so it's like when you're in your own head and you're arguing back and forth, maybe you're divided on something, think of those divisions as these characters. So they can work together or they can fight, like we sometimes do in our own heads, but they're all aspects of the bride's nature. So they're a single person.
Yeah, it's a really great design because you're like sometimes in your own head and you're like, I shouldn't do this, or no, wait, I should do this, I really want this, and so you kind of bring that to bear in this game where you're all at war with each other, maybe, or working together.
Or maybe working together, we'll see. So, what's our next question?
What are you leaving behind from your provincial life to become the Bluebeard's bride? I would say solitude. Like, this is going to be a house with people in it, and they'll be there all the time. I can't be by myself anymore. I can't go off into the woods or see the places that I played in when I was younger. I'm losing my friends.
Did you have any special kinds of friends as the witch?
Ooh. Let's think. I'd say there were definitely some sneaking out late at night moments.
Tell me.
Where on a clear moonlit night, going out into the woods and seeing the animals that were active. Like, when a full moon is out, you can still see everything, and just being absolutely entranced that there were deer, that there were birds, that there were, critters, and that the night did not stop them was a very powerful experience. So late at night, she would often sneak out to the woods and just experience like the magic of nature and the cycles of the seasons.
That's pretty cool. And you're losing it all.
Yes. Awesome.
Mother?
Sad. What are you leaving behind from your provincial life to become Bluebeard's bride? We come from a very large family, and in very large families, the older side of the siblings tend to take on parental duties to the younger siblings. And there is a younger brother who we're particularly fond of.
What's his name?
His name, help me out with something regionally appropriate.
Oh,
Turkish, regionally appropriate.
I'm not very good with.
1 second. You know who knows? Google knows.
But I'll continue while we're looking for a name. So she can remember this brother's birth, and she took care of him from a very young age, very much like a mother would. He's a little rambunctious. He tends to get away with things because we cover for him a little. And it's just someone we are extremely fond of and are now having to come to grips with the fact that we will likely never see him again, or at the very least it will be a very long time before we are able to leave our husband's estate and go to see him.
Is the name Asil okay?
Yes.
A-S-I-L.
A-S-I-L.
And this Essel is our brother?
Asil is her little brother.
Okay.
Tell me about a special moment that bonded you and Asil together.
He was in a neighboring family's garden patch farm, and a lot of people are responsible for get some of the food that comes onto their table from their very own gardens. And he was in one of these gardens picking some of the sweeter berries. And we found him there, and he was distraught, as little children do when they're caught red-handed. He thought for certain that he was about to be turned in to our parents, and we saw it to be, he hadn't taken that many. He could clearly see the error of his ways. We sat and spoke to him the way that people very rarely speak to children, as though they can understand the consequences of their actions and that they're doing wrong. And in that moment we bonded, and he came to trust us.
That's adorable. And you're losing that.
Pardon?
You're losing that.
Yes, and you're losing that.
All right,
We are
Val.
losing that.
Same question. What am I leaving behind?
What are you leaving behind?
As a younger daughter of a family that didn't have much in the way of dowries to offer or anything like that, what she's leaving behind is the hope of freedom. Like a woman who is younger, who is not the oldest daughter, might just disappear. She might just help out with family duties. She might care for the children of her siblings once they marry. But that allows some freedom of choice. Your life is somewhat in your control. There were others in the village that she had admired from afar and thought that perhaps once she came of age, she might be able to pursue them.
Who was one of those young men or women?
He was a blacksmith's apprentice. The family didn't have much need for a blacksmith except when their sort of oven tools or gardening tools needed assistance, but he was always very kind. Every once in a while he would make a point of complimenting the bride on one of her treats that she might have made, that he might have bought from the family. And it was
from her baking?
Yes.
What kind of thing did she bake for him?
It was a cinnamon twist, and the cinnamon was hard to come by. It's something she guarded very jealously. She would scrape together money or trade, and she made sure she knew when this little boy was coming by, and made sure that she had a little bit of cinnamon saved up to make something like that for him. She doesn't get a lot of kind words, and it meant a lot to her that he sort of reciprocated in that way. And she longed for more than just verbal reciprocation. But those hopes are dashed. She is married to Bluebeard.
Oh, that blacksmith probably would have been a good guy. All right, Virgin.
Hopefully he doesn't have a room.
So can we just quickly recap the other ones?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So what was the first one? What was the witches?
For the that she is losing her like nightly rituals of going to the forest.
Oh, okay, great. And
Aesel, our younger brother, who
okay,
we were very close with.
right.
The blacksmith's apprentice and the freedom of potentially having choice later in life.
Okay. And I think the Virgin she's losing her childish ways. She's excited that she's taking this new step into adulthood, into being a young woman who will know for the first time the touch of a man, and she's scared of it, but she's also maybe anticipating it a little bit. And she would talk with her not with Aesel, because she would definitely not talk with her brother about it, but maybe her close friend Natasha, and Natasha and her would talk about what it is to be a woman and to grow up, and they had fairy tale dreams about it. And now she thinks those fairy tale dreams are going to come true. She is marrying this great aristocrat, and so she's setting aside maybe some of her childish ways to become a woman and see the beauty of marriage and wedlock. And so childish dreams, I think, is what she is giving up.
Got it. No more childish dreams. Or Natasha.
Or Natasha, yes.
Okay, I'm gonna break this up a little, and I'm gonna start with Lizzie and then go that way towards the witch. So what's the next question?
What loving gesture did Bluebeard make when you first met that won you over? He came laden with gifts for her family. Being very poor, being not in the position to have many possessions, have many things that are frivolous, to have this man come and bring the people who are closest to us all of these ultimately frivolous but still very generous items. It was heartening, and it spoke to us of gentleness.
So what did he get your mother in particular that would just made her go, oh, isn't he so nice?
A necklace. Not anything overly ostentatious, because it certainly would not last in her home long after he leaves if it was something jewel encrusted. But it is certainly the nicest piece of jewelry that she owns, quite possibly the only piece of jewelry that she owns. A very modest necklace, largely of metalwork.
Ooh, describe the metalwork.
Very intricate and winding pattern. I don't know how else to describe it. But yes, it's very.
It looks like it's one of a kind.
Yes. It looks like something that was specially made, and made with great care by hand by an artisan. The kind of thing that if you didn't really know what you were looking at, you might think, oh, that's a very pretty necklace. And if you did realize what you were looking at, as perhaps our mother does not, you might realize its true worth as something that this family could never achieve on their own.
Awesome. So, which?
He brought rich, dark wine, and it was the first time that she'd ever drank.
Mm-hmm. What did it taste like?
I liked a lot what Ajit said about being grown up, and it was that like powerfulness and like the first time you like when you drink wine and you accidentally take too big of a gulp from it and you can like instantly feel like the head rush. So it made her feel very
The good
adult
stuff.
and powerful.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
What kind of herbs were in the wine? What did it taste like?
Cloves and probably cinnamon and just richness, not watered down.
Very, very earthy and
Yeah.
powerful.
Mm-hmm.
That's awesome.
So it tasted a little like powdered.
Yes.
Oh,
Got it.
I like that.
Virgin?
Okay, Bluebeard, my husband to be, gave me these very thick gold bracelets, one for each arm, matching. Very, very ornate and with emblems of like lions and beasts of prey chasing each other, one consuming the other. And the lockets are very, very heavy, and they lock. The bracelets are heavy and they lock. You have like this little like key lock, and so it's just strange, you know, when the Virgin puts them on and she just locks them, and she feels very in his hands or controlled by him, and they weigh her arms down when they're so heavy. There's so much gold, and she's just overwhelmed by the gold and the heaviness of these bracelets, and the images of beasts of prey consuming each other. A lion tearing apart a bear, and a bear attacking a boar, and each beast of prey is consuming the other in this endless circle of consumption, and that is it. It moved her deeply, and she was won over.
Wow. That was an excellent description.
Not ominous at
Savor
all.
that. That was really good.
And as far as the Fatale is concerned, she was won over in almost the same moment that the Virgin was won over. For as he brings the cuffs out, he would put each of them on her hands, but before he did, he slowly stroked his finger up along the inside of her arm.
Wow.
Very slowly, and then kissed the inside of her wrist, and then closed the bracelet around her wrist, and did the same on the other arm. And it was the first time in the Fatale's existence where someone had given her a sort of worshipful touch, like someone had acknowledged her for as enough, as desirable, as worthy without being put against somebody else's standards, and it made her feel very powerful in that moment before the cuffs were closed around her wrists.
Wow, that's pretty intense.
And awesome.
Yeah,
oh my gosh.
that's pretty amazing.
I'm freaked out, and I'm the one running the game.
I'm glad,
exactly what I want.
I'm glad chat seems to also be appreciating all of the descriptions.
Yeah, that is richly evocative. Good job. You guys are really on the right track here. So let's start with Lizzie again and do the same thing for the next question.
Okay. What gift did you present to Bluebeard before the wedding? Why did you choose this?
So how are you going to try to show him that you're worthy of him? Or what kind of message are you going to send?
We gave him something that we baked, something that we made with our own hands, probably silently. A number of loaves that are woven breads, very intricately woven, glossed from the ovens, and this is not something that would have been done very easily or very quickly. We spent much time on this and working on it and perfecting it to give him these loaves of bread. It seemed like a very simple gift, but we felt very proud of, and we hoped would show him that we are capable, that we can be not only a caretaker but a partner, and that we value his judgment and his view of us and our worth. Yes.
I got it. So you're showing him that, like, this is a thing that you can really do well, and you can provide, right? You can
Yes.
sustain.
Yes.
Makes sense. What do you give Bluebeard?
So, hidden at the bottom of whatever other gifts were given, against all logical judgment, I strung together a necklace made of wolf's teeth from a carcass I found in the woods,
Wow.
and the tip of a large antler, and just put it under everything else and under the cloth even. So if he found it, it would be later.
Yeah.
Why did you give him that? What is it?
It's an object of power. I know that he is strong and virile and feared, and I wanted to show him that I knew that without making a big deal of it in front of everyone else.
So it's an acknowledgement of his sort of, not animal, but very carnivorous, very
Yes.
powerful nature.
Yes.
Okay, got
That's
it.
awesome.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
Okay. When the bride was a very little girl, when the virgin was a very little girl, her father gave her this little beautiful doll, and this doll was a replica of her when maybe she was like 10 or 11, and her father had made this doll himself, and it was this beautiful, pristine, innocent doll, and all capturing her in her loveliness in the prime of her girlhood, and coming into close to womanhood. And she would sleep with this doll every night ever since her father gave it to her, and she loved and loved this doll. And she decided that as the ultimate gift of, maybe her leaving her family and going to Bluebeard, she was going to give him this doll. But over the years, the dress that the doll was wearing had gotten pretty tattered. So the night before, she's like made a little new dress, and she sewed a new little dress for this doll. And just as she was finishing, she pricked her finger, and a little drop of blood appeared on the doll's dress, and it was just too late to clean it. There's just this smidge of blood. And so she presents this doll to Bluebeard of her as a little girl in the prime, just about to become a woman, and something that her father gave her. And on the dress is just a fleck of blood, her own blood, that she shed the night before.
That's pretty metaphorical. That's awesome.
That is awesome.
Ooh, okay. How we doing? Anyone need a drink? Anyone need to stretch a little bit? Okay.
The Fatale, what do you get the gentleman who has everything experiences? So the morning of the wedding, before she gets changed for the wedding, of course, because he's not allowed to see. Or actually, the night before, since these are probably superstitious folks. So the last time she's able to see Bluebeard before they exchange their vows, she arranges for a chaperone, of course, but she brings in a basin of water and slowly takes off Bluebeard's shoes and thick woolen sort of socks, if he has those. I don't know if we're getting married in winter or summer, come to think of it. And she washes his feet.
Well, what time of the year are you getting married?
We're getting married in the fall. Might as well.
All right.
It's nice.
Symbolic. It's the death of her innocence. The leaves are falling, so too does the innocence fall. So she puts the basin out, and she's ground up some sort of dried flowers since we're at the end of the season to scent the water. and just washes his feet, making eye contact with him as she does.
Oof. That's pretty intense.
And then finds the nicest towel they have in the house and softly dries his feet. And that is the last time they make eye contact before the wedding.
Is the Fatal, she's definitely seducing him a little bit with this sensual ritual. Well, Fatal knows her moves. She's got,
Eye contact is a spell.
That's pretty powerful.
Whew.
Okay.
All right. So we're gonna reverse course here again, just so everyone gets a chance to go first. So we're gonna start with you, Virgin, and we're gonna then flip over to the witch and go this way. So what's your next question?
Do you trust your generous husband, Bluebeard, or do you hold unkind suspicions? Why is that? The Virgin does not, I do not entirely trust him, but that thrills me a little. He's a little dangerous, and that's a little exciting. He's just so strong and powerful, and so that maybe unnerves me a little bit. But I mostly trust him. I do mostly trust him, and I think the parts that make me don't want to trust him actually entice me closer to him. So actually, yeah, I do trust him, and even the nagging feeling in the back of my head tells me, no, he's great, and I want him. And so, yes, I trust him.
Okay. Witch?
I don't trust him, but he shouldn't trust me.
Ooh!
Tell me about why.
He doesn't know what I'm capable of. I'm sure that he thinks that I am a young, second string wife, since he couldn't have the one that he wanted, and that I'll be bedazzled by his riches and his fancy house. But I've got my own shit to take care of, and I will do so.
What's the thing that made you decide that you couldn't trust him?
That I know he's violent.
You know you
right?
think he's
Well,
violent.
you said there were rumors, right?
There's rumors, but
Yeah.
you don't know.
We don't know, sister.
I listen. Might not act on all of them, but like those get filed away in the scary man part of the brain that is always active in all women. So that's where those live.
That's why you are the witch.
That is some truth right there.
Yeah. Preach, sister.
That
Definitely.
is some truth.
That's awesome.
Oh, is it me now?
Yeah.
Okay. So do we trust him?
Do you have a choice?
The mother is torn. Because on the one hand, we have heard all of these stories about his past, and generous acts do not translate to a generous or kind heart. Men are potentially full of deceit, and this is something that we're aware of.
How are you made aware of that?
Watching the way that men behave in the village, some men who are violent towards their wives, some men who speak kind words to one lover and are secretly sneaking out to another. The things that married women or unmarried and more experienced women talk to us about. So we don't entirely trust him, but are not as far into the mistrust as the witch is. Tentative hints of trust that are skittish.
Was there anything in your own home that convinced you that men were not trustworthy?
Yes. Because our father tends to, mother makes all sorts of excuses for him, that the world can be so harsh and weigh him down, and he has so many children to take care of, but the way that he will speak to her, coming close to striking but never quite, and the way he will
indulge himself in whatever kind of liquor he can get a hold of, so that there are days when she comes home to find him passed out in front of the door, because that's as far as he got before Mother told him that he could not come in and let the little children see this, even though everyone knows that this is what's happening. And so, coupled with the fact that Father is a very beloved figure in the community, so we are very well aware that people can have one outward face and another turned inward far more ugly.
It's good to know.
That's pretty intense. Yeah.
Fatal, where do you side on this issue?
In a strange way, she may trust him more than the others, because it's not about trusting him to behave in her best interest. She trusts him to fulfill the stereotype of manliness that is expected of an aristocrat and a husband, and believes that if she behaves in a way that entertains him and provides value to him, that he will behave in a way that she generally expects men to. If she provides some sort of value, he will continue to seek that value.
So it's almost contractual.
Yes.
Does the Fatale think she can control him?
She doesn't know yet.
Okay.
She doesn't know how he responds.
But she is the Fatale.
Yeah, I mean, she believes that may be a possibility.
That's pretty cool.
But she knows that men respond to women in certain ways, and that tends to result in certain types of behavior. And so she trusts that the entirety of human experience will bring itself to bear in this relationship, and the man will behave in the manly way, and it is up to her to fulfill her part of that bargain.
So she trusts him to meet the stereotype that she has in her mind. I like that.
That's going to be very interesting.
Yeah.
All right, let's start with you one more time.
Sure.
So, now comes the sisterly bonds. And it's in the middle part of your sheet. We're going to do this part next. So this is how you're all connected to each other, what your relationships are with each other. So when you're establishing your sisterly bonds, take some time to explain how and why and what happened and what forms your experiences. So you each have a top one, and that is your relationship to your sisters in general, not excluding anything else. This is the context for your relationship with them. So let's just all go through and read what your general context is with your sisters, starting with the Virgin.
Sure. My sisterly bonds. You trust your sisters for the most part, but blank blackens your innocence with her every word. Explain how she became your enemy. I think the mother blackens my innocence with her every word.
No.
Explain how she became my enemy. The mother is controlling. She tells me what to do, and has treated me like a child who doesn't know well enough for too long. And I think it was actually one day when she was talking with Natasha, her friend, her childhood friend, and they were talking about men and in their way romanticizing about how the future would be with a great nobleman, and they dreamt of one day finding a husband for themselves, a man that would ride up on a horse and sweep them off from the farm that they lived and the hardships they lived, and take them away to something beautiful and rich and what they deserved, what both Natasha and she deserved. And the mother came in and was chiding and told her, "This is not realistic. You're a little girl who believes in fantasies, and you must grow up, and you're just too childish and innocent and foolish." And it really hurt the Virgin. It tore at her and broke her heart that she the mother would control her like this and dash her beliefs. She knows that there's a great husband. She's about to get married to a great husband, and she knows that. And so that is why the mother is definitely her enemy, because the mother is just too controlling.
So I'm gonna let the mother respond, but first, if you're just tuning in, this is Weekly Affirmations, the show about indie and freeform games. I'm your host, Strix. I'm joined today by Ajit, Cheryl, Lizzie, and Mel. And today we are playing a very special game because I co-wrote it with Marissa Kelly and Sarah Richardson. This is Bluebeard's Bride, a Powered by the Apocalypse feminine horror game. And yes, feminine horror is one of the scariest horrors. The game is currently kickstarting. I'm sure we can drop the link in chat. And we are in the middle of the character creation process, which is really still just playing because we're telling the story of who we are, which is very important to what happens next. So, Mother, did you intend to make the Virgin your enemy?
Of course not. But she's such a foolish girl sometimes.
That's awesome.
Yeah. I have only the best intentions for us, and sometimes the children must be taken into hand and led. And if a child is going to be obstinate about it...
I'm not a child, mother. Stop treating me like that.
If you would just mature a little, then and open your eyes. I'm just trying to help you.
We are going to be married to a nobleman, just like I always dreamt.
Yes, and it is a situation that we should approach with eyes open and our awareness, and not just be a silly little girl about it.
Well, that's why she's my enemy. I think it's pretty clear. Should be pretty obvious.
Do you take her grudge seriously?
Minorly. Can I kind of tie this into my first one? Cause
yeah, let's go ahead and do it.
So sisterly bond is that I know best and try to guide the wayward sisters, but I think clearly the Virgin irritates.
I saw you write something earlier.
Yeah, erased it. The Virgin irritates me with their obstinance and often undermines my authority. And to talk to a time when the Virgin undermined my authority. Undermined my authority? Is that the correct grammatical structure? We were having a discussion about what to do with Aesol. He had gotten himself into another little spot of trouble, as he tends to, and it seemed to me that we were all in agreement that we should, this time it had been serious enough. He had stolen an apple from a marketplace vendor. And I had suggested that we should take him to our parents rather than directly to the marketplace person, so that our mother could handle the situation. And I thought that everyone was in agreement, and the Virgin felt very differently, felt that if we had just taken him to the vendor, surely the vendor would understand he was just a little boy, that there would be no need for any kind of repercussion. The apple was unharmed. We had caught him before he had eaten it. We could just give it back. And I was trying to explain that in this instance, with stealing, there needed to be more stern consequences, or he would not understand what he had done was incorrect. And we were not the person to do that.
No, Aesol is just a little boy. He made a small mistake, and we could have fixed it without our parents or mother getting involved. And this is why you don't enjoy life, and you don't understand that it was just a thing of, like, it was a playful thing.
You will understand in time.
Parents just don't understand.
Yeah, exactly. Parents don't understand. Mother, you're just too tough. You're too tough, and that was uncalled for and unnecessary.
Wow. Well, okay then. That's an interesting relationship. Fatal, what's your first bond?
On my sheet it reads, your sisters are who they are. Boring and predictable. But blank has no idea of a woman's true power. Explain why you wish to teach her. And that's clearly the Virgin. And the Virgin, she speaks about fairy tales, and that's an important part of growing up, but the marriage now is the part where the story stops happening to you, and you start to have to happen to the story.
Ooh.
Once you've been married, the stories all end there, don't they? The fairy tales don't tell you what happens next.
It's happily ever after, right? It's happily ever after.
Oh yeah.
She has
What
so much
keeps
to learn.
your husband happy? I help keep our husband happy, and I can show you how.
I don't know what that means.
I know you don't, and it's okay. You don't need to know everything right away, but I can teach you. You can have your fairy tale for as long as you want it. You just need to know how.
That doesn't make any sense to me. I know the story ends. I know how I've read 1,000 stories, and that they all end the same way, and is happily ever after. And we're going to have her happily after. And I don't need to know anything more. I just don't need to know anything more. That's all.
That's gonna go well.
And to very quickly answer a question in chat, which mother,
Fatal,
and Virgin?
Yeah, I'm the Virgin.
And groundskeeper.
Yes.
GM.
The GM. So, Witch, what's your bonding situation here?
So, my sisters are not nearly as important as Power, but
Wow.
the Virgin is a useful tool. Explain how they helped my pursuit of my blasphemous craft. Being able to turn on that innocence at any point is amazing, for the record. You know, you're out in the woods, you're naked, you're bathing in a stream surrounded by strange toadstools, and everyone's like, what are you doing? And you just kick on that Virgin. It's a great summer day. It's hot out. I didn't want to get my clothes dirty. It's a fine time, and I thought all of these herbs and berries would be really great for incense, and no dark purposes whatsoever.
I use that excuse if you need to too.
No dark
I just like to
purposes.
carve little pictures of animals into tree trunks. It's not a big deal. I don't know why everyone's so weird about it.
So how do you feel about getting trotted out like that?
I think that actually plays into my next, so if I can go into that while I respond. So that's actually perfect, because I was kind of undecided.
How well we're knitting it
Yeah,
all
yeah.
together.
So my question is, blank often helps you play tricks on others, explain a time when she was your ally in mischief. And I think the Virgin doesn't realize that the witch is using her and thinks that they're just playing tricks on others. And so when the witch tells her to do something, she definitely does it. And so there was a time, I think in the Virgin's mind, she thought it was her idea, but the witch wanted a revenge, I think, on their mother for hurting Aesol after the apple incident. No, our mother.
Yeah, not this mother.
Because Aesol got very badly punished over that. And so the Virgin also thought like this was a good idea, but the witch wanted something more from it. There was a piece of power. And so we stole into the morning before Mother was awake, and we stole Mother's. Let's see here. I think we stole Mother's her favorite dress, and we wore it, and we went out into the forest. And the Virgin thought we were just gonna have fun with our dress and hide it, but we played in the forest with things in the dawn of light. Something was creepy and weird in the forest, and the Virgin didn't quite understand what was going on. And when our mother found out, she was screaming in anger about it. I think the Fatale, maybe, I don't know what the Fatale was thinking. I think Mother was probably pissed also, but I think we danced in the forest. And we ruined our mother's dress. I think that's what the Virgin thought. This was cool. We're ruining the mother's dress. But I think the witch had other ideas with us dancing in the morning.
Normally, if something gets ruined, it's because you like went into the mud, not because you ripped it on purpose and like cut it.
But I think we were doing some kind of weird ritual that you had in mind, and I had, like, the Virgin's just like, oh, we're just gonna like play with mother's dress and ruin it because she hurt Aesol, and that was not right. And so. The witch helps us play tricks on others, but I am your pawn. Or I am definitely foolish in the ways of the witch's manipulations.
Got it.
Oof. Fatale?
My second sisterly bond. Now, you try to draw in the witch with your seductive aura. Explain how you keep up the facade.
Yes, please do.
I feel that of all of my sisters, our powers are best combined with the witch. She's strong. She understands who she is, and she has desires, sort of self-actualized desires. So, when I see these sorts of games occurring, the frolics in the forest, I do what I can to support them.
Oh.
I hoped you were on my side.
Oh, wow. Mother, you are totally outnumbered.
Oh, man. No.
I mean, this is really, it's helping all of us.
I just want to play in the forest.
I'm going to change my answer.
Play is an important part of both the fairy tale and the ever after.
I just want to play in the forest, and Mother deserves it.
I think my next one plays into yours, too, if I can.
Yes, please.
Okay. The Fatale draws an evil to her. Explain what you have done to keep the evil at bay.
Ow.
I find sisterhood very appealing. I like all of us. I like other women. Men are terrifying, and men are powerful in a different way that I have much less control over. Like, you know what happens when people call someone a witch. It doesn't go great. I worry about the Fatale when she takes control, because what the Fatale brings is not always beneficial to the whole as much as carnal and base desires.
Name a time where that specifically happened. We want the gory details.
Yeah, so it dealt with the blacksmith's apprentice. I believe that we were far too young. I'm on your side at this point for a serious relationship with a boy. And also, a blacksmith's apprentice? Really? We can do better, girls.
He's very good with his hands.
That's what you keep saying, and you talk about his strong forearms, but I wanted more for us, and that would have been less. So, Fatale had worked up this whole thing, baked that cinnamon tart, whatever, that she does every time. Or was that you? One of you did it. Joint effort, as far as I'm concerned.
Probably.
And I
realize
sprinkled a
what it was
little
for.
something different in there.
Uh-oh.
And he was sick for a week. It was just terrible, but he didn't want to eat anything we made after that. And I felt really bad.
You poisoned the blacksmith.
The apprentice.
Okay.
Yeah. Well, maybe the blacksmith too. It was a large tart.
That would Patel does not know that she did that, so she felt that the blacksmith must have kept the boy at bay after he'd given her such positive encouragement. Initially, it tasted good. There's just so she does not know that occurred.
But didn't want to eat anything after that, and that was. Now we're safe from that.
Wow.
Future.
Devious. Yes. Hey.
So much safer.
Now what?
Wow.
So much safer.
Yes.
All right, that leaves our Fatale with one bond left, correct?
I have gone through both of mine, but our
No,
mother has
mother,
one.
yeah.
Mother has one. So I trust. Everything kept changing as the conversation was happening. Just to give you all a little behind the scenes.
Yeah, my suggestion as a GM that you actually have players just fill them out one by one so that it's more organic when they make these bonds.
So you trust the witch to have your back and explain a time that they supported you in a time of need. So the reason that I saw someone say such a tart. So the reason that it is the witch that we trust the most out of all of our sisters, obviously we have a very maternal view of the Virgin, and the Fatale, even though I would say that the Fatale is a close second as someone who does really better understand the nature of what we're getting into and the potentialities of it. The Fatale is just too hedonistically driven, whereas the witch, I trust to be more concerned with our own safety and that of any potential children that we may have in the future. Because that will be, of course, the very center of our caring. And if the husband becomes a danger to that, then I trust the witch more to have my back with it.
You trust the witch over me? Really?
I play the long game.
A time when they supported me in my time of need. Let's see. Oh, this one is hard, you guys. So we were. It was one of those nights that Father came home and he was already completely, almost blackout drunk. It was hardly understand that he could even still walk or speak, let alone have come home. And Mother was out on an errand, and because the weather had taken a turn and she had gone so far in order to do business, we were left at home with just the children, and Father just passed out. So we went out. We had another one of our late night walkabouts. And we happened upon, this was prior to the tart incident, we happened upon the blacksmith boy. And we had a rather lengthy, lovely conversation with him. But I was very aware that we were alone and the inappropriateness of that. And whereas the others seemed to feel either that this was a completely innocent thing or that there was something here to be taken advantage of, I felt very strongly that putting ourselves in this situation not only compromised us, potentially compromised our family. And coupled with the witch's inherent suspicion and belief that we could just do better, it was she who helped me to amplify my voice and ultimately win the argument that turned us around and brought us home before anyone could notice that we were alone with this boy, and before we could do anything that would compromise us.
So I guess that makes sense why the witch is a little bit on your side for different reasons.
Yes,
now.
yes,
very different reasons.
very different reasons.
I want to go live in a house in the woods with animal companions, and you want to have like 500 kids.
Yeah.
I just want to live happily ever after.
Yeah.
As all the fairy tales end, right?
Oh boy.
Careful where you place your ending.
Yes. Okay, so
Wow,
that's our
okay.
bonds. You guys are deeply interwoven. So what we're gonna do now is we're gonna look at moves. So there's some basic moves that everybody gets. There's moves that you can only make when you have the ring, and only one sister can have the ring at a time. And then there are moves that are particular to your playbook, and we're gonna pick those at the end. So get your moves list for me, and we're gonna go over what's in here. So what you need to know is that there are two types of moves in this game. Moves that require dice rolls, and moves that do not. This is powered by the Apocalypse. So any moves that require dice roll means that you want to roll at least a 7 to 9, because a 0 to 6 is failing. A 7 to 9 is you kind of get what you want, but also there's this other thing that maybe will junk things up. A 10 or higher gets you what you want, and it's all great. So each of you on your sheet has a stat. It's either blood, carnality, or resilience. So each of these different types of moves require for you to use a particular kind of stat, and you get a +1 in one of those. It's already predetermined based on who you are. So that's what those little boxes mean. 2 of them have empty, which means you don't get any pluses, and one of them has a +1. So anytime you roll with that stat, you're gonna add a 1 to your dice rolls. It does not apply to rolls which there are no rolls. So if it's a dice's move, you don't get a bonus. Make sense?
Yes.
Okay.
So yeah.
So let's look at the move sheet. And on the left-hand side, you'll see the maiden moves. So the maiden moves are moves that any sister can use to narrate the bride's action. If a disagreement arises over what the bride should or should not be doing, the sister with the ring decides. So if there's any fighting, the ringed sister sorts it out.
Okay.
So what you can do, whether you have the ring or not, is you can care for someone.
Is this the ring here?
That is the ring.
Ooh, it's a nice ring.
So when you care for someone, you ease their suffering and bridle their torment. They may demand a demonstration of your sincerity, however.
Okay.
When you investigate a mysterious object, and you succeed, you can choose 2 of the following. Or when you take stock of a tense situation, you can ask for 1 of the following, assuming you succeed. And they have a list of questions on their sheet that they can ask.
Okay. Makes sense.
So I'll give you a couple seconds to read over that.
Yeah, when you investigate a mysterious object, ask 2 questions. When you take stock of a tense situation, ask 1. Great.
When it says situation, the questions, are they in the scope of the world or the scope of the room?
The scope of the room, usually.
Okay. So when I say this place, it means the parlor, not necessarily the world
Yes.
or the mansion.
Yes,
Cool.
that is correct.
Cool. Awesome.
Okay, so then there are ring moves, which only the sister with the ring can do. And that means she's basically the driver of the bride, at least in part, for that amount of time. So you require the ring to make the following moves. If there is a disagreement about what the bride's action should be or not be, the sister with the ring, again, always decides. After a sister makes a ring move, she must pass the ring unless it's stated otherwise somewhere in the rules. The sister who is passing the ring must decide who will be next to receive the ring. So you will get to choose who gets the ring next. There is not a pass order. So, when you shiver from fear, this is an excellent move. Name the thing that you're most afraid will happen, and then the GM will tell you how it's worse than you feared. So, this is a triggered move, meaning if I actually see you shiver or wince or do anything that looks scared, I'm going to trigger this move. But also when it makes contextual sense in the narrative and you feel like you would be shivering from fear, you're going to trigger this move. You want to shiver from fear because it makes the game super interesting.
So we can declare ourselves that we're shivering from fear.
Yes.
I am currently shivering.
I was gonna say, like, I'll probably be doing that a lot.
But if you don't, I might start observing you and doing it for you.
Awesome.
So there is that.
But only if you have the ring.
Only if you have the ring.
So if someone has the ring and I'm shivering, it doesn't matter.
Doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Has to be the sister holding the ring. When you caress a horror, the Fatale will love this one. Roll plus blood, which is one of your stats. On a hit, the horror is swayed by your stroke. Direct what was intended for you to another victim in the house.
Oh.
Or it will shift its attentions, but only if you participate in some way.
Ooh.
Have fun with that one.
Oof. That's awful. Just reading that gives me like the shivers.
Mm-hmm.
I am shivering from fear already.
Ah.
Wow.
When you dirty yourself with violence, which means anytime that you want to do a violent act of any kind, you're going to roll carnality. And on a hit, you're going to inflict trauma. And we'll talk about what trauma is in a second. It's very important. And as established, and choose one. Here's a hint. Pretty much any time you're doing trauma to something, it's doing trauma to you. It's not a sustainable action. You do it too much, you will die. Or in this case, shatter and become a burden to your other sisters as you drive them slowly mad.
So we're clearly not going to be able to like kill our way through any problem.
Darn, because that was my plan.
That is not
Okay,
gonna
mother.
work.
Get your rolling pin and let's do this.
That's
Me and
no
the witch
way.
got
I am
this.
not fighting. That's not how happily ever after works.
Can't be happily ever after, spattered with blood, sisters.
Oh my god. I'm traumatized
It's gonna
already.
be great.
Okay.
When you cry out for help by declaring a new and immediate inadequacy, roll resilience. So you trigger this move by saying, no, I can't take this, I'm not strong enough. No, I can't take this, I've never had sex before. That kind of thing. Triggers cry out for help. You roll resilience, and on a hit, a house servant comes to address your concerns and calm your hysteria. On a 7 to 9, they help you, but first they need proof of your loyalty to Bluebeard. And when you voluntarily give up the ring, and you might want to do that sometimes, pass the ring to the next sister, you are immune to trauma until that sister passes the ring too.
Oh, interesting.
So
Okay.
sometimes you want the ring, and sometimes you really don't.
Okay. So after a sister makes a ring move, she must pass the ring unless stated otherwise. But if we do that, we are not immune to trauma. But if I voluntarily give it up, we are immune to trauma.
The both of you, I think.
Just
Or
That passes it, and we choose who we want to pass it to, but it has to be to a sister who hasn't had a turn yet.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And just to clarify, anytime where it says roll, you're gonna roll. Anytime where it doesn't say to roll, it's a non-rolling move, meaning something in the fiction triggers it, or you find a way to get to that by addressing it narratively. Does that make sense as a sort of a rule base for everyone?
Yeah.
Okay.
I think so.
Exit moves. So, only the sister with the ring can make an exit move. So if you're trapped in a room and you want to get out, you better have the ring, or you better convince the sister with the ring that it's time to go. To get a token before exiting the room, that sister must propose to me, the GM, the truth of what they think happened to whom and why. So, what that means is you are trying to discover the truth behind Bluebeard. Who is he? Is he a good guy? Is he a bad guy? And when you enter a room, you're looking for evidence. So you're gonna pick an object, for instance, investigate an object, and you're gonna discover things about the room. Then you are gonna tell me what that object means. Whether it means that Bluebeard is a good guy, or whether it means that he's really, really not.
Huh.
That's up to you. So, again, the sister with the ring is the only one who can do this. When you attempt to escape without proposing a truth about an object, the groundskeeper will offer you a hard bargain or ugly choice to do so. If you pay it, you escape. When you propose a truth about a room, describe the token you take that supports your interpretation of what happened here and mark it on the token track, which we're going to describe along with trauma. If the token is a token of faithfulness, you are closer to proving that your trust in your husband is well placed. Heal a trauma. Let me say that again. If you decide that you are faithful to Bluebeard, you get to heal a trauma
Oh my god.
for the entire bride.
Everyone?
Everyone.
Yeah.
The whole bride gets a trauma back.
So it's like in Delusion, we are healing ourselves.
I didn't say that.
It's like a self-destructive, like, yes, believe in Bluebeard, but we're gonna heal, but okay, lead you to your doom too. Great. That's awesome.
If
Awesome.
you take a token of disloyalty,
It's really smart.
you are closer to proving that your unkind suspicions about your husband are true. Mark a trauma for the whole bride.
Man. So like devil's bargains here.
Yeah.
So,
Spoiler alert, he's not a good guy.
I want you to look on your own sheets. There is a track in the bottom right-hand corner, and it has little hearts on it. How many hearts are there?
5.
That's how many points of trauma you have before you shatter. There are
Okay.
ways to get trauma points back, there are ways to heal, and there are ways to get yourself more trauma. If you reach that 5th one, so if you actually go to fill in the 5th trauma, you shatter. And the place that you hold in this game, the nature of it changes. And you're no longer on Team Bride.
Oh gosh.
We're no longer on Team Bride. That's fucked up.
So, speaking of the bride, there is a sheet for the bride, which all of you are responsible for keeping together, but maybe you want to appoint someone. So, I'm gonna grab the sheet for now.
Yeah.
You give it to me, because my arms are not long enough. So this is the bride sheet. And we don't have physical tokens today, so we're just gonna mark tokens off. So there is the track of faithfulness and the track of disloyalty. Each time you get a token, you mark one off. When you hit 3 tokens of either one, this is gonna trigger the final room. And that brings us to our end game. So, I'm going to task the Fatale with keeping track of the tokens for today. And there's one more sheet of paper there under the bride. Can you grab that? This is the sheet for the final room. Now, before we start playing, I want you to understand what the outcomes will be. So, Virgin, can you tell me what the faithful outcome says?
Sure. The faithful outcome. When you approach the final room as a faithful bride, tell the groundskeeper if you enter the room or only look through the keyhole. The groundskeeper will tell you what happens.
Fatale, what happens if you're disloyal?
When you flee Bluebeard's house as a disloyal bride, tell the groundskeeper if you will present your tokens to the town to try and prevent Bluebeard from killing anyone ever again, or run away and try to start anew. The groundskeeper will tell you what happens.
And what's the last?
Shattered outcome. When the bride shatters completely, her fragmented mind now craves things it didn't before. Tell the groundskeeper if the bride is now driven to better herself or to make future brides better. The groundskeeper will tell you what happens.
So in the case that all of you shatter before you make it to the final room, that one is triggered. Make sense?
Sounds good.
All right. So any questions before we really start playing?
Well,
I'm very happy there's not a fail state. You know what I mean? Like, none of us are going to lose this game. That's really cool.
You can't lose this game.
I just wanted to say...
I mean, you can't really win this game.
Yeah.
So you can't lose this game.
It's about the story.
We find the ending.
it's the role play that comes
Or
through.
potentially the ending finds us.
Yes. So let's talk about your face.
Okay.
So each of you has a face because there are many kinds of mothers. There are many kinds of virgins and fatales and witches and animuses. So I want you to pick your flavor for today. When you pick your face, you're picking a move that you'll be able to use over and over again throughout play today, but you will not be able to use the other 2. So take a moment, mark in which face you're picking, and then we're gonna go through and tell each other which face we chose for today.
When you say today, does this change mid-game?
For the duration of the game.
Great. Just making sure. This is tough.
Yeah, they're
I've
all really good
because
ones.
I picked different ones like 3 times.
Can I
Yeah, they're
ask
really
a
good.
question?
You can.
This is a metagame question. What does caring for servants do?
So you can get something out of the servant. You could calm the servant down. You could get them off your back. You could do a variety of manipulations that come with caring for
Because
somebody.
I have one here that says, when you care for a servant by poisoning them with your lies, they choke on your words and die. And that seems a little extreme if they're being kind.
Care for someone.
Yeah.
Take care of.
It's a very loose interpretation.
Okay.
I can read mine first.
Sure, what did you pick?
Sure, they're all really great. you know, that I was really torn between. I really like the lily. Your beauty is a candle in the darkness. When you care for someone by showing them something beautiful, you will not have to demonstrate your sincerity, which I know normally is what the rules force you to do. But I think as we're kind of like creating our characters, we're building. The Virgin is kind of drawn a little bit to horror without quite understanding what she's getting into, and so I chose the victim. When you caress a horror by inviting it to come closer, mark 1 trauma to take a +10+ instead of rolling. And for those of you who are not familiar with Powered by the Apocalypse, the way the system works, I think Strix explained it, was 2 to 6 is a failure or fail forward. You know, maybe something will happen, but it's not really what you want it to happen. 7 to 9 means you get what you want, but something else also happens simultaneously. And then 10+ usually means you get everything you want and you don't have to. There's nothing that comes back at you. Though clearly something does come back at me because I gotta mark 1 trauma by inviting a horror to come closer. So.
But you get an auto success.
Yeah, it's an auto success essentially. The Apocalypse world system is really elegant and very simple, and I really like it how it works. So this is great. Yeah, I think that makes sense for the Virgin, don't you guys think?
Yeah. So you're going with the victim today.
Yeah, I think she's it's kind of been coming out, right?
Come play a game.
Exactly. The witch is gonna make me, or the Fatale is gonna make me play like crazy games, and I'm just gonna get swallowed up.
So what you're not playing is the lily or the moth today.
Right.
Got it.
Right. So
this is again where replayability comes into the game. Very, very different flavors can be had through a variety of different kinds of configurations of how you decide to do things. And one more time, in case you are just joining us recently, this is Weekly Affirmations. It's usually a positive feel-good show about indie and freeform games, but today it's a horror show about Bluebeard's Bride, which is a game that I actually co-designed myself with Marissa Kelly and Sarah Richardson. It is live on Kickstarter right now. We're 3 days in and we're already super funded, but I would definitely suggest you pick this up while you can, because I don't know about runs that are going to happen after this, so please grab it. It's a wonderful game. And this is a game for adults. We will probably go through some graphic content, just so you're warned. And we are currently wrapping up our character creation, which I feel like is still playing, because we're doing a lot of cool stuff. Like, I feel like this is really fun and valuable. Yeah. So I'm not bored yet. Okay, so.
And do you want us to read the stat that I chose too?
Yeah, what was your stat?
So I thought because the Virgin has sort of been expressing, the Virgin already starts with a +1 to resilience, your ability to tolerate the horrific, which makes sense, I think, in that it's almost, I think, her using her innocence as a shield to kind of like blind herself to the horrific, and she doesn't quite understand that's a resilience to it. So she automatically gets a +1. And I took blood as my 0. She's got a connection to the horrific as well, and I think once again she's drawn probably a little bit because of the witch's influence, maybe even the Fatale's influence. And I took a -1 to carnality, your expression against the horrific. And I don't think the Virgin knows what to do with the horrific actually when the horrific encounters. When she encounters the horrific, so she's drawn to it, but then it destroys her in the process, or she's very vulnerable to it, which actually plays into her being the victim.
Perfect.
Yeah, I like the, it's just very elegant how these stats play off of each other.
So who else has their move in their stat block ready to share? Witch?
Yeah. So I'm actually going to choose the medium. Spill your blood to commune with the horrors of the room. Mark 1 trauma, and the groundskeeper will share silenced whisperings about what happened in the room and might ask you a question or two. Answer them. So I went with that because the one of the other ones felt very self-preservation-y, and I was like, no, this is a stream show. This one will be more fun. I'm excited to cut myself for the rest of the sisters.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's gonna be some blood magic. Some serious blood magic is going to happen here.
And my stats.
Yeah, what do you do? How are you configuring your stats?
So I already get a +1 to blood, which is my connection to the horrific, obviously. And I took a -1 in carnality, the expression against the horrific, because I already had written a -1, and then your description was great, which is like, oh yeah, like I'm super great at magic and amazingness, and then like a deep arcane horror comes up and she's like, no, wait. I may have talked myself up a little bit. But resilience, I put at 0. So
perfect. Awesome. Mother Fatale?
I'll go. So this one was really hard, to be honest. They were such good choices. But I picked the martyr.
Yes. That's one of my favorite faces for the mother.
You'll take your love to the ends of this world. When you offer forgiveness for a sister's sins, mark trauma 1 for 2 to heal that sister. Because I feel like though the bear was very tempting, and I do feel that the mother has, a little bit of the judginess in her. Ultimately, the goal is to preserve and protect the family and what we are building. And
Does that include Bluebeard?
That remains to be seen. It may, but that remains to be seen. For stats, I already had a +1 to carnality, which is your expression against the horrific. I took a 0 in resilience, which is your ability to tolerate the horrific, and a -1 to blood, your connection to the horrific. That was another kind of difficult choice for me, but ultimately I thought that in caregiving you often encounter the horrific, and even though you may feel no connection to it, that you shouldn't necessarily be so quick to shy away from it or so repulsed by it. And that's why I chose that.
Nice.
That's awesome.
Fatal?
Well, again, difficult choices, but what I ended up choosing for the Fatal's face is the face of the spider. Your beauty and charm get you what you want. When you trap a servant or a whore with your feminine wiles, they will tell you a secret about either the house or Bluebeard, and I can mark a trauma to ask a follow-up question.
Ooh. What did you not choose?
I was very close to choosing the mistress. You are the one really in control. Take 1 trauma in order to take the ring from your sister.
That would have been awesome too.
But also like a double-edged sword,
Yes,
possibly.
it was like you'd have to wait and for the right moment and almost maybe never get it. And so I thought I'd have more fun with the spider this time around. Very tough decision on the stats. I think where I've landed is she's +1 to blood, which gives her strength in caressing the horrors. That seems to make sense. I chose to put 0 points in resilience, so she's reasonably good at tolerating the horrific. Who knows what she has to put up with in her ever after. And a -1 to carnality. It isn't necessarily how she chooses to exert her control.
Wow. I think we're all...
It's no good if you're seductive if people are silenced and unable to reciprocate.
Does anyone have a...
No one's good with the horrific. Oh,
Mother's
Mother?
good with carnality. She's good with carnality.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
Cool.
Okay. This will be very interesting.
Very interesting. Wow.
All right, and we have 5 minutes left of playtime.
This is how I remember the Warren going to.
So, I'm gonna actually stop us here with the actual play.
Okay.
We're just gonna wrap 5 minutes early because what's gonna happen next is gonna take a little bit of time, and we still need to have time to do the rest of our affirmations today and to wrap up and talk about how play went. So, we have made it 100% of the way through character creation, which, surprise, is actually still playing.
It feels like still playing, too, which I think is really awesome.
I think really telling those stories together and creating and role-playing off of them, and why the mother's my enemy, and why the witch is we work together, or I think we work together, but clearly I'm just your pawn. It's pretty awesome.
Tools are useful.
We're playing tricks on everybody.
Don't sell yourself short.
No, it's gonna be happily after upper. We're gonna have a great life together.
Protect you, and you just make it so hard.
This is great. All right, so here's what's gonna happen from here. Actual play is stopping right now, and what we're gonna do is we're gonna decompress for a second. We're gonna talk about this experience, maybe highlight some of the things that came out of the session, and then we're gonna do the rest of our affirmations and wrap up so that Death from Above can set up their table. We're going to be doing parts 2, and it looks like maybe parts 3 of this as we play all the way through this game over the next couple of weeks. So be sure to join us next time at 3 p.m. on Friday, or watch the VOD or the YouTube. and I really look forward to getting into our first room because you guys are gonna love how that works.
Yeah, I'm super excited.
Yeah, I mean, you get to describe the keys, and it's gonna be super awesome. Super awesome. So, let's take a second here. Yay! We get to be happy again!
We had a
Back
resub
to
that just
whimsy.
yes, a little bit.
So Laura is drafting up our affirmation list. I would love to hear from chat what you thought about character creation. As this is my game, you can ask me questions directly about it this time. But first I want to hear from you guys. How did character creation go for you? What was your favorite, pick one thing that was your favorite part about character creation. And we can all share.
Oh, hard to pick one thing. I mean, I like the gifts. Yeah, go ahead.
I liked the sisterly bond when we were going back and forth, just the way it so very neatly fell together that, oh no, wait, I have something that can then go off that and go off that and go off that. That was my favorite part. It felt most collaborative and it felt really organic to me.
Yeah, I really felt we were riffing off, we were building a story just by character creation, by building the sisterly bonds, which was really smart and a lot of fun. We actually really riffed off of each other's questions, each way. I really love that. I did really like to hear also the wedding preparations. It was just kind of interesting to hear each, like, we built up a backstory about Aesol, the brother, and the blacksmith's son who came into the other part as well. And
we should name him.
yeah, the blacksmith's son definitely needs a name.
Yeah, I figured I wasn't going to stop it before.
I mean, yeah, maybe we should.
So
We probably need a list
Yeah.
of names so we can point to.
Yeah.
I really liked the preparations too because it felt like a foundation in a really like concrete way. That then that's why the sisterly bonds and everything else happened so like organically because we already had a shape for it.
I thought it was really interesting. I thought the most interesting part of it for me was specifically starting the wedding preparations off with such pointed questions because there are some general ones that everybody answers, but how each one controlled a different part of her body, but also like it's that manifestation of her body on one of the most important days of her life. And so a lot of shit just comes out when you're asked like, what does her mouth look like, or what do her eyes look like in that very evocative life moment.
Yeah, and asking about the body parts was also fun because like my first answer was to riff off like Fatal and said like, I'm wearing some coal, but that's because the Fatal told me to do it. And like that was a lot of fun to be like, oh, the Virgin wants to do this thing that like should be, she doesn't really understand what feminine beauty might be, and she's still very innocent in that regard, and so she trusts her sister to give her the right advice. Is that the right advice, sister?
It is absolutely the right advice.
Of course, anything you say. No, actually, I believe in a witch.
Anything all of you say.
Yeah, anything. Well, I don't. Not the mother. The mother is just a spoil. So spoiled.
The opposite of what mother says.
Mother never listen to mother.
Somebody actually commented pretty early on that they thought that there was possibly some bleed going on. And I will definitely say that, I mean, in my case, definitely when we were asking about like body, that was quite purposeful. Yes, there was. Because one of the beauties, I think, of this kind of game is that you can create a character who is more representative of you when you are not the archetypal person that you know games and narratives and whatnot get created off of. Yeah, like I think that's one of the best parts of doing this kind of thing is that you can bleed some of your experience into it if you are in a place personally where that is a thing that you can do and still be emotionally safe. Then if that's something that you want to explore, then you can, and this gives you the opportunity to do that.
Yeah, definitely. So I saw a quick question about what playbook got left out today, and that is the Animus. And the Animus represents the masculine part of the bride, the aggressive, violent part of the bride, and also the protector. Kind of like the mother, but different, because everyone has both masculine and feminine in them. This represented the masculine part of the bride, and it just got left out today because everyone wanted to play different playbooks. So for me, I think one of the best parts was you guys squipped me out at least twice in character creation, which is exactly what I want. It was great. There were moments when I was like, whoa, and it was fabulous. And I think one of my favorite, most evocative moments was when you were describing the cuffs. Fantastic. and then you went with it and with the
Yeah,
pieces
that
on the
was
inside of the wrist.
that was like epic.
I
You
was
really
like,
played
oh
off
my
of that.
God, I don't know. Am I turned on? Am I scared?
Yes.
What is happening?
Oh my god. That's the fatal for you. That was some pretty good fataling right there. I don't know if fataling's a word, but that was some fataling going on there.
Scarouse.
Scaroused.
Yeah.
Scared aroused.
Yeah.
I was scaroused.
Yeah.
Which was fantastic. And I think one of the great things about this game is the GM can really get out of the way of the players and let them do their thing, and then that gives them enough ammunition to come back with the same stuff. And then really get into it with them, which we're gonna see in our next episode.
Ghost is gonna smooch our wrists, you guys.
Oh no, my
Oh,
God. You wish that's what it was.
Oh my god.
We'll be in it and they'll be like, I wish it was a ghost smooching our wrists.
Wow, that's intense.
Chivalry is dead
Yeah.
amongst the undead. I'm just gonna put that out there.
Thank you so much, Laura. So, for me, I didn't really feel close to the X card today. There were no moments where I was like, eh. But I think once we get into more deeper play, that might come up more. So we're definitely going to continue to use the X card. Did anyone else have any X cardy moments?
No, it was
No?
good.
Okay.
It was evocative, but without going to a place where it was too much.
But
I
I'm sure
think
that'll
it's interesting
change.
because, like, when we're talking about the past, we know she survived up until this point, so she's it's a little safer to kind of explore and know there's some kind of resolution. She's still in one piece, but that will not be true later.
It will not be true later.
Yeah.
I was maybe X-carding myself mentally a little as I was going through possibilities for our relationship with the father.
I
was like,
heard that in my
I've heard
brain.
that
I was
too.
like, okay, no. Okay, this is as far as I
saw
can
some
go.
thoughts flash
Yeah.
across your face, and I was like,
Yeah.
huh, I wonder if she's gonna do that.
Yeah.
You asked that question, like, is there something at home? You said yes, and then there was like, yes.
Long pause.
Yeah.
yeah. There was some mental X-carding going
And
on.
it's interesting because the father's an alcoholic, right?
Yes.
And then but my gift is like she still prizes it anyway, which is I think the duality of a relationship. Like he is a terrible father on one hand, but then she also still like the doll still means something to
Right,
her.
exactly.
And so I think maybe the doll means more to her because he's such a terrible father.
Yeah,
It was like this
yeah.
moment of like lucidity on his part.
Yes. Yes.
So there's a question in chat, how do we choose who gets what roles? The general principle is whoever has not played before gets to go first. And if everybody has not played before, then it's up to everyone to take a look at the books and negotiate what they think they would like to play and what they're comfortable playing. So it's off the bat, it's an interpersonal negotiation of who's gonna be playing what.
And we talked off camera just to save some time, and we kind of figured it out.
We did.
And it was very interesting the way it worked too, because I think there was no like everybody who wanted these are the things that I wanted, like nobody else wanted that. It was like, oh, definitely wanted the witch, definitely wanted the virgin. Like it was very interesting how it happened.
They're all great roles. Like I've played the mother before and I've loved it. I've never got a chance to play the witch or the fatale, and I kind of want to play one of them one of these days. But I played the virgin before and I've enjoyed the virgin. So this is, but a very different take from this one. So playing the same role, I'm playing it very differently than I did the first time. So.
Is it just me or is the spider behind Strix moving upwards? Ha ha ha. I'm not afraid of spiders actually.
Also, Mr. No.
That's April.
Who is April?
And Claudia hugs spiders, so between people on the channel,
Oh, yeah.
there's a lot of spider love.
No, me too. I'm just not acknowledging it back there.
So when we get into the game next time, the first thing we'll do is I, as the GM, am gonna basically pick what Bluebeard's favorite gift was, and then that sister gets to start with the ring. From there, it's anybody's game, because the ring is not prescribed about who it is given to. You always get to choose. So if the witch and the fatale are fighting,
Money.
No?
It's
Oh,
not
sound?
announcing, so we can.
this was so interesting to watch. I can't wait to see the story get expanded upon. I'm loving it all. The psychology, and then the text ran out and I can't read anymore.
We'll be able. I'm loving
Oh,
all
it's
the
right.
psychology.
Okay.
We'll
Hurry
be
up
able
next
to
Friday.
Hurry up next Friday.
Okay, awesome.
Thanks,
Thank you, Kate.
Thank you, Kate.
So, chat, any questions for any of the players for next time or for me, one of the designers, please ask them now. I'm gonna jump in to start doing affirmations. As you can see, the sounds are back on, so you can do more affirmations yourselves. But first, on my list here from Laura QQ is one for Anna Berg and Malika from Dutch Teddy. Oof. Oof. I gotta get my cards back. Stella's gotta get her groove back here. Okay.
And somebody asked in chat while she's getting the cards set up, they asked, will it be it's hard for us to get back into character next week?
Oh, what do you think?
Oh.
Well, I might get here a little early to try and get my
Yeah.
head back
Yeah,
into
yeah,
it.
same.
And then you have to just preserve it for that half hour that y'all are just so generous.
We'll get in a place,
Yeah.
go happy, and come back. But it helps that we spent so much time building the base.
Yeah.
I think because if we had just said, I'm a Fatale and I'm a virgin, then it would be, we wouldn't have any chemistry to go back
Yeah.
to.
Yeah.
Well, and maybe we can do a recap.
Oh, of course. We're totally gonna do a recap.
Last
Man,
time
T-Bear,
on-
you saw me spill my drink? I thought I got away with that. It was like all over, like melon all over, and it was like bright, and I was like, oh, I hope they don't see this. But apparently I did not get away with that.
Yeah.
Oh well.
Oh,
No.
there's a gif.
Of course there's a gif of it. Thank you,
Oh,
Hyper
man.
RPG. All of my best moments saved forever.
If only gifts had sound, then there could be an anteater gift.
Oh, one more thing I wanted to ask but forgot. What did you guys think of the tone that the storytelling set in the beginning?
I think like you mean hearing the fairy tale in the beginning. Yeah, I think that's really great because we know the story. It's not like this is a surprise gotcha. Like we're not building towards maybe like the end. I think the story is we're playing the game for the game, like for the actual.
It's about the
role-play.
journey, not the
It really is.
destination.
I mean, as cheesy as it sounds, like
Yeah.
that's really what it's about. Is,
We're not trying to save the world.
Yeah, we're not gonna like save the world or like beat up Bluebeard with a knife or something. It's like we're playing to have that, and so I think that created a great, powerful atmosphere for me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I agree. And especially as someone who is not that familiar with this fairy tale, it really helps to set the tone. It's really quite chilling. I liked it a lot.
So there was one more question from Elmsworth. So if I kickstart a physical copy, is it possible for you and the others to sign it? So that's tricky because you'd have to pay for all the shipping. As I live in Seattle, one of my co-designers lives in New Mexico, and the other one lives in Chicago. So you would have to send it to each of us and have us sign it. But if that is something you want to do and pay for the shipping, I will do that. I will sign whatever copies you want me to sign.
And I think you're like also found at cons pretty often.
Hey,
Yes.
Strix,
So-
if I find you at a con, will you sign my copy?
No, I won't.
I mean, all of the designers are at cons pretty often. Gen Con being one of the ones that you guys I think are often all at, and then there's a bunch of other cons. So I think, I definitely want signed copies too. I backed it on a physical level. I got all the swag with it.
I want to hoard all the books. They're really
Yeah,
pretty.
they're
They're so pretty.
The art, if you have not checked out the Kickstarter, the art just is amazing, and it's a beautiful game. So.
And it's all ballpoint.
Yeah.
What the heck?
What?
Oh yeah, all that art is ballpoint pen.
Yeah,
Right.
and gold
If you-
and gold leaf.
Yeah, if you want to just like lay in bed and think.
Oh my
about
god.
How long that took?
Oh, and just like imagine other people and their talent.
Yeah.
That's
For I Am Critter, we are
amazing.
not planning on signed Kickstarter sets for the reason that I outlined before, and that the three of us live across the US and it would be so expensive to do that. So it's not
Also-
something we're offering.
As someone who has been involved with a company who's done a lot of Kickstarter shipping, that adds a whole ton of cost and logistics
Yeah.
that can just weigh down a project. Like, it's a very sweet thought, but I totally endorse you guys not doing it.
Yeah, nope, we can't. It's not realistic. All right, so this one is for Anna Berg and Malika. It's from Dutch Teddy. And you folks are svelte, burrowing minotaurs. So I imagine that would be like,
Oh my god. I'm back to face palming again.
Do we have the running tally going, chat? Because I saw
good
someone
sorting right
suggesting
two
it.
seconds.
Holy cow. This is what I live with. It's pretty intense.
It's so intense. So the next one is for
I
Pacilio.
do live with a svelte burrowing minotaur,
That's
apparently.
right. So Pacilio, or Percilio, Pacilio, however you want it to be pronounced. This is for your 3-month resub. Thanks for sticking us for a whole season. So you are a tremulous, believing goo.
Tremulous. No, come on.
What's a tremulous,
Oh.
believing goo sound like?
Goo goo goo. Goo 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 goo. I don't know.
You are a gift. You are a gift, sir.
I
know.
This is not good.
I feel like that was the Virgin's interpretation.
Are we at whimsy yet? Is there whimsy?
This is painful whimsy. Very, very painful whimsy. Holy cow.
Well, the next one is for you, Ajit.
Thank
which
you.
means you get to make the sound again.
What?
Well, because you always have to respond to your own affirmation. So this one is from Dutch Teddy. So you can say thank you to Dutch Teddy.
Thank you, Dutch Teddy.
And
cheers.
You are a confident,
Oh man, not really.
capering steed.
That was like not confident though. So sure, it's like, oh my god.
No, I was right. Like you did it. You didn't even wait for her to like.
Yeah.
You did it. Like
just-
I'm proud of
I'm
that.
trying. That was my confidence was in
Yeah, that
trying.
was confident. It was you acted with confidence.
Yep.
Oh man.
There you go.
Wow.
And then our last affirmation for today, unless anyone sneaks in at the last minute, is for Kate. So, Kate, I hope you have a wonderful weekend. I hope this makes you feel affirmed because you are a fresh, buzzing Sleipnir. All right, who wants to take us out on a Sleipnir note?
I don't know what a Sleipnir is.
It's the horse
multi-legged horse.
that Loki birthed after
Oh,
he
okay.
After
Well,
turning
in that
into a
case-
lady horse.
and got like 8 legs.
I'm not gonna partake in this.
But it
I'm outta
tosses
here.
his hair because it's fresh.
Get me out of here as quickly as possible.
Well, luckily, you're in for it because this is the end of the show for today.
Thank
you
you.
all so much
Thank you,
for
God.
joining us. Come for part 2, where we explore Bluebeard's mansion and get super terrified. That's gonna be Friday, 3 p.m. PST. Up next is Death from Above, the show about Battletechs and battle mechs and stuff being destroyed and awesome character acting. Please stay tuned and have a wonderful weekend. Laura QQ, can you give us our outro, please? Or we can sing it
What's it, a
ourselves.
weekly affirmations, a positive feel-good show.
Sometimes.
The most positive thing on this channel called Hyper Rabbit Power Go.
It's pretty decent.
Bye, everybody. Have a great
Bye.
weekend.